good. Thank you so much for having me. I am very grateful. So thank you so much. Thank you, Wina. Thank you, Ma Ugona, for setting this up. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Okay. So I would love us, and in the networking session, it's very important we network even though virtually. So I think I would go first. So my name is Wina. I'm a 300 level student of computer science in Muayu, and I'm one of Sajesi's students. So Ozioma, you have the mic.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. My name is Ian Uzioma Julius. I'm a computer engineering student, 300 level also of Michael Akwa University. Thank you.
Welcome, Ozioma. Okay, Miss Victory, you're next.
Okay, good evening, everybody. My name is Victory Michael, 100 level student, computer science, Abia State University too.
Wow, it's nice to have you here all the way from Abia State University. Welcome, Ma. So,
Thank you very much, sir.
okay, we have Mr. Monachi, a badass graphic designer. Mr. Monachi, you're welcome. Please introduce yourself. Mr. Monachi, if you can hear me, kindly unmute and introduce yourself. Okay, I'm not sure he can hear me. I'm not sure he can hear him. Okay, Monachi AK, now that you're here, I don't know if you can hear me. We are having introductory section, so you can introduce yourself to the community. Over to you, sir. Mr. Monachi, if you can hear me, kindly unmute your mic and introduce yourself.
Okay, good evening, everyone.
Okay. Are you hearing me now?
Uh, let's Okudiri go first.
I said, my name is Munachi with AK, and I'm a front end web developer. Are you hearing me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay,
Well, okay. Go
I
ahead.
did my so
I said, go ahead. Go ahead.
okay. I just finished my listing. I just finished
I
learning last year December. So that's just it.
Okay. It's very nice to have you here, Mr. Monachi,
Thank you, sir.
as Monachi AK. So let's hear from you, Mr. Monachi Okudiri.
Good evening, everyone. You can hear me. You all can hear me, right?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, so my name is Okudu Munachi. I first graduate from computer engineering, Muayu. So right now I'm into graphic design, branding, and UI UX. I'm so happy to be here.
Welcome. I think this is the only graduate in our midst. The only graduate in our midst. We are loyal to you, sir. Welcome, sir. We are very privileged to have you. I think this is a full circle. We have our lecturer here. Magonna is a lecturer in computer engineering in MYU. We have a graduate. We have a 100 level student in AFSU. Then we have other undergraduates. Then we have our speaker and employed graduates. I think this is a full call. So I think he's having network issues. So let me try to reach out to him. Give me a minute while I try to reach out to him. Okay, welcome in my favor. We're glad to have you here. Welcome, ma. Please kindly introduce yourself if you can hear me.
Okay, good evening. Thank you so much. My name is Onyedima Favor, and I'm a member of GDG Umuahia. Basically.
Okay, it's very nice having you around here in my favor. So, please, I believe everyone here registered for this webinar through the link, right? I
Yes.
believe we all registered for the webinar through the link, not the Google Meet link, the main link sent that's via your email. Yes, it is. If you didn't register, also help me paste the registration link here so that everyone can register. It is very important we all register on that link so that Google can effectively track the registrations for this webinar. Kindly give me a second while I reach out to our speaker. I think he's having network issues. Ojamo has pasted the link, so please, if you did not register there previously, do go to rush over there and register. Okay, so while we are waiting for our speaker, I think we can do something fun. We can do something fun while we're waiting for our speaker. So, if you are here and you are into cybersecurity, can you raise up your hand? You're here and you're into cybersecurity. Okay, I see you, Jama. Who else? Okay, only that one. So if you're here and you know that October is Cybersecurity Awareness Month, can you raise up your hand? Okay, I see you, Ojama. Now, let me ask another question. Now, if you are here, I want us to one by one identify one security measure that we as digitally literate people should effect in our day-to-day life. One thing that you know is important that for you to stay safe online, you have to consciously do it. So the first person I'm seeing here is Mauguna. Mauguna, you're up first.
Okay. I think one thing that is also a bit let's say rampant is watching out for like phishing emails and links. So links that would tell you, or maybe win one thing, or register for this and it's free and stuff like that. You always have to check, oh, is it the right link? Is it taking you to the right place? So you need to look at the URL, and if it looks fishy, doesn't look original, you definitely should not click on it. And I mean, sometimes you also get emails that look legit and they're telling you maybe about something that seems beneficial. You shouldn't just click on it. Although most times Gmail would help you filter out the ones that are possibly spam, but you should also be vigilant yourself and not also just click on it. Um, for me, especially because I have like an official email that is like linked to a network of like other stuff. So I wouldn't want to make it or render it vulnerable to such an attack, or render the network vulnerable to such an attack just because I want to win an iPhone or something like that. So yeah, so that's one measure to stay safe on the internet.
Yeah, thank you very, very much, Ma, for this tip. And I think one particular thing we should watch out for in phishing. I don't know how people are just so vulnerable. All this one that MTN is giving out free 50 gig on a day, or that I have start 1 Grammy, and because of it, Airtel is dashing 30 gig. You cannot try to find a connection between someone winning Grammy or Independence or Biafra and MTN giving 50 gig, or that Tinubu is giving 70,000. You should click this link to collect your own. And students' laptop scheme. That one's another big scam. There's another one. There are so many of them. Things that look, some of them look too good to be true. Like some of them look too bad. While some are quite believable. So I believe all these phishing links and things that are not really trustworthy. There is this feature on Chrome I use, enhanced web protection, and it restricts me from visiting any web browser. It restricts me from visiting any website that does not support, that is not security supported. That's your normal secured website is HTTPS. Now, any website without the S, that's standing for the SSL certificate, it's restricting me from visiting that website, and I have to click continue to go to that website. That is, I'm acknowledging that I know that this website is not secure, and I'm visiting it despite of it being unsecure. So let's be careful and avoid phishing links and unsecure websites. So, Miss Victory, can you tell us another tip for staying safe online as a digitally face person?
Okay, thank you for the opportunity, Clara. I feel um limiting of sharing our personal information online. That's just what I have to say.
Okay, that's a nice one. I think it's a very thin line between knowing what to post, because in these days that everybody is encouraging you to post your work, talk about yourself, talk about what you do online, so you can build a track record and all that and all that. I think we now have to balance it. You have to find a balance between putting yourself out there, between marketing yourself, and between giving out too much information. So that's something we have to be very, very careful about. Do not release personal information. Basically, if you're selling yourself online, what you're giving out is work related information. I did this, I did this, I did this to achieve this, I did this and I achieved this. And even at that, you should also be careful not to release sensitive information, because this is social media. And like they say, the internet never forgets. The internet never forgets. So some tweets, some posts some people have made, some reposts, some comments have come back to haunt them years after they made them. Why? Because they are not careful. Some of us are aware that Hush Puppy was arrested. He was nabbed because he was doing Instagram live. That's how they caught him. That's a big hacker, a big Yahoo boy. It was Instagram live that exposed him. So we should all learn to control what we put out there. So up next we have Ozioma. Ozioma, are you with us?
Yeah, I am.
Yes, give us one tip for staying safe online.
Another important tip for staying safe online is, keeping our softwares, that's both the apps we use, the operating systems that run on our devices, on our phones should be updated, because with each update, with each update comes when what we call security patches that helps to prevent hackers from exploiting or vulnerabilities found in our devices. So once you have this habit of keeping your apps, your operating systems, your softwares up to date, you get, it reduce the risk of hackers trying to exploit you or trying to run one or two attacks on you.
Okay, thank you, sir, for that tip. So you said we should always update our apps. So let me look for trouble. Victory. When last did you update the apps on your phone?
I don't remember actually.
You don't remember? Was your
Yes.
mask see our first target? You're the one who will have first. Try to do updates as much as possible. I know that is expensive, but me, what I usually do is once it's 11, I'll do night sub with MTN. At least 1 gig can update the apps in my phone. If I do 1 gig and I go to Play Store and I click on update all, to just update the apps. And you find out that you get when you update your apps, it gives you this smooth feel because there's some issues the applications in your phone may have, and the software developer finds out and decides to release a patch and an update to fix that. If there are some apps like Facebook, WhatsApp gets they get updates every 3 days. There's an update for Facebook. Every 3 days, there's an update for Facebook and an update for WhatsApp. And all those things, they are not meant to waste your data, but they are meant to give you a better user experience. So, Possible and Mr. Daniel, you are welcome. So, we are talking about tips of staying safe online. And Malgona said we should avoid phishing links. Ozoma said we should always update our apps. And Victor, I've forgotten what you said though.
I said you should limit sharing our
Yes,
personal
limit
information.
sharing personal information online. So, Mr. Monachi, how do you think we can stay safe online as digitally literate people?
Well, for me, I think one important thing we need to do is two-factor authentication. I think most people don't see the importance of it because I think my boss would always say, no matter whatever app you're using, always have it, always have 2FA on it. That's very important. So I think that's for me. It's key because even this evening I had to use two-factor authentication on my Twitter account because I've been having issues with it. So I think that's good.
Okay, that's a lovely one. Always use two-factor authentication. Look at how the boss is feeling proud and is clapping. One day they will call me boss. So use two-factor authentication. I think this is something that is very important, very, 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 very important for whatever app. Even if you can use multi-factor authentication, your Google account for one should be very secured. Google has been giving security updates recently. You can use your phone as a passkey now. You can use your fingerprint. There are a lot of security features that are lovely, all to help us ensure that our accounts are secure. People do not realize how needed this is. I think recently GitHub is releasing an update whereby all accounts that are not secured with 2FA would be deleted or banned or something like that. It is all in a need to protect users. So let us ensure that your two-factor authentication is on, especially for your Google account. Your Google account can control a lot of things. Your mail is very important. So without wasting much of our time, our speaker is here now, and we would so much love to go ahead with the webinar. So we have Mr. Jesse Anosike, who is a three-star Python programmer, a three-star Python general, my boss. He is a cybersecurity expert with so many years of experience. Sorry about that. He's a cybersecurity expert with over 3 years of experience in cybersecurity, network management, and Python programming. He currently works at ECL Technologies Services as a Flutter developer and also a security expert. He has over 6 industry certifications in Python programming, data analysis, and cybersecurity. Ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome Mr. Jesse Anosike.
Winner, I will fight you after this webinar. I promise
No
you.
problem.
We would have very, anyways. Good evening, everyone. Everything he said concerns him. My name is Anosike Jesse, and uh, I do cybersecurity, and it's as simple as that. Every other thing, he said 3 star. If I see 2 star, so I'm safe. But anyways, first of all, thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, Maugona. Thank you, Lonkolobin. Thank you, everybody, for taking out the time, to be here. There's, I can tell you, we have activities on the I'm very grateful for that. And I'm also sorry for trying to help because MTS don't get to I'm just going to go straight to what we have today. So first things first, from the topic beyond the codes, right? Uh, we have a complex house, we have designers, we have and we have and so I'm going to try to look at the top code about because while I came in the second time, I discovered that some of us were thinking about how to secure in the spread to the test. A lot of us were correct. We take mention that good, right? So yeah, any concept about that all that a lot of us that in fact, as of now, you cannot do so you cannot do it without um, how do threat environment has become very so I'm just sorry, that was background information. I'm just trying to build a foundation towards what we have today. We have building security. First thing first. Okay, sorry, I didn't. First thing first. Building. What do they mean by something being dynamic? What we mean by sorry about the noise, the background noise. I'm really sorry. Oh my god. Apa.
Hold on now.
Hello, can you guys hear me?
Sorry, good evening, sir. We haven't been hearing you all this while. It's just this question you asked now that I can hear.
Can you guys hear me now?
We can hear you now, but your voice is quite low. All this
Okay.
while we are not really being able to hear what you're saying.
Can you people hear me now? No one, sorry, can we hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Is the voice better?
Yes,
Yes.
it's way better.
Okay, so I'm going to start with I was trying to explain what's being dynamic is when they say dynamic threat environment. So what they are trying to tell you is that the threat environment that we live in 2024 is a very dynamic space. It takes different shapes and sizes. It comes in different ways. You know, you have like almost a million cybersecurity threats out there. Just a lot of them. They are just everywhere. They are just in a lot of places at a lot of time. Thank you. So you just have to be very careful, you know. So as Ma Ogona talked about phishing links, if you protect phishing links, you've not protected your codes itself. If you're able to protect your codes and your phishing links, you've not protected DDoS against DDoS. If you're able to do that, you've not, you know, done SQL injection. So there are a lot of threats, a lot of them, and what we are just having to do is to find a way to mitigate as much as we can, or make it very difficult, you know, for threat actors. But so here's what I'm going to first do. I'm going to see how I can, you know, load my screen so that I can show us, you know, practical example of how we can you know, have a dynamic threat. We can, you know, be able to build secure applications, web apps, mobile apps, or whatever in a very dynamic threat environment. So first things first, I'm going to recommend that first things first, if you're a developer, you should pay so much attention to the operating system called Linux. Can we hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, we can hear you.
All right. So to be we want to what is an operating system called Linux. We are paying attention to Linux because Linux is an operating system that is built for development, right? Linux is an open source operating system that you as a developer, what you're doing, you can actually download the source from the Linux and arrange it in a way that it suits you so that that is how Linux is. Because, if you're using Windows, truth be told, you're a Windows user, the access to what you can control in Windows system. Okay, for example, as being into cybersecurity, I was trying to download a software package that I was going to use for a DDoS test, and then I was using a Windows, and it did not allow me. I could not download that on a Windows. That was because Windows kept blocking that software, knowing fully well that it is malicious, right? That is the same way. Now, that's I bought. The point of Windows time, but the one need is 100% control of your environment. You cannot protect an environment that you do not have control over, right? So first things first, we need to have that at the back of our minds that, look, we have to, you know, first off, protect ourselves before we start talking about, you know, protecting dynamic threat environments and all that and all that. So I'm going to, okay, first things, I'm going to share my screen and hope you guys see it. So can we see my screen? Hello?
It's loading. It's loading now.
Okay, so if, I don't know if you guys can.
Uh,
Yes, we can see your screen.
All right. So I'm going to log into my I'm going to log into my set my dev environment, and I'm going to now talk about it. What is going on? Why are you hanging?
okay.
All right, so we are in. Okay, yeah, it's setting up. So what I just did was I loaded my Linux virtual environment. Okay, for example, I am using a Mac operating system. I am using Apple's operating system for my day-to-day activities and, you know, one-to-one activities. But when I want to develop, I develop in a virtual environment. And when I don't want to use that virtual environment, I develop on the cloud. So what I'm trying to explain to you is that one of the ways to develop in a threat environment is one, create your own virtual environment, create your own space that you control what goes in and what goes out. Now, this is my own space, as you can see. This is a Linux environment. Everything here is Linux, right? Everything that I'm going to be working with here is, okay, let me not switch to full screen. Let me leave it this way so that it doesn't hang. This is my Linux environment. Everything, because I am more of a security guy, most of what you're going to be seeing here is security tools like the Jcrypt tool, Wireshark, and all. These are the ones that I just want it to be on the desktop, but there are a lot of other stuff that are running on the background. This environment is where I can do anything I want to do, anything I feel like doing, anyhow I want to do it. So I can open up my terminal, and for example, this is Linux. So I can open up my terminal, and the first thing, as Winner had said, updating. Sorry, my terminal is coming up once it comes up. But what I'm saying is, the first thing, as Winner had mentioned, is updating, like running an update for your virtual system, right? So first things first, you should try to update the softwares you use, the features you're using, and how you're using them. You should try as much as possible to run updates as regularly as possible. That way you avoid some sort of issues. I remember at some point earlier, sometime last month or last 2 months, I was hammering on my status and a lot of places for Google Chrome users to update their Google Chrome. Right. The reason I was doing that was because Google Chrome had a threat, right? Google Chrome had a vulnerability that was exploited in the wild. And that vulnerability allowed attackers to take control of your system once you are a Chrome user, and then you save your cookie. I don't know if we know what cookies are. Cookies are informations that websites take, browsers and websites take information about you. One of the reasons, I don't know if any of us have wanted to register for something, and then the moment you click on the text field, Google will pack all your information and point on your face, and then you type in a blank. Hello, does it happen to us? Am I saying
Yes.
something strange?
No, sir. You're not. It's happened.
All right. Is the only Winner that is okay? Good. So what this in this software, these things, the reason why Google is able to bring out your full name or your phone number or your email address anytime you need to fill it somewhere is because it has those cookies. These are informations that the server stores about you. Now, these informations are supposed to be temporary, they're not supposed to be permanent. But sometimes we forget to clear our cache, we forget to clear our browsing history, we forget to clear these cookies. So we just, so I'm not going to go into the history of cookies and all that. If you want to know about the history of cookies, come to ECR. But that's, so the point is this. Now, when I want to start development, the first thing I do is I update my entire Linux environment. And the funny thing is it doesn't take time. It's just a few commands to write in Linux, and I'm just going to do sudo. So the sudo I am writing is super user do. Now my text fields are small because of privacy, right? Even someone, Muna, that works with me can testify. Even if you're sitting beside me, you cannot know what I am doing because my text fields are small and my screen is a bit obfuscated. So you cannot see what I am doing unless I want to show you what I am doing. So that's another security tip. So I'm going to type sudo apt get, and I am going to type update. So the meaning of sudo is super user do, like I explained. It is telling the Linux OS that you are the super user, you are the overall controller of the entire system. So once I click on enter, it's going to tell me to write my password, and I am going to write my password, and I am going to click enter, and sorry. Oh, I wrote double T. Sorry. T. Sorry, that was a mistake, kids. I wrote double T. So I'm gonna do this. Double dash. Sorry, guys. Sorry, I don't know why my keyboard is writing double letters instead of one. Oh God. Okay. I'm going to have to restart. Can we hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you.
All right. I'm going to have to restart my terminal. I'm sorry. I'm going to have to close it and restart it because the thing is misbehaving.
Um, okay, sir. As Mr. Owelbina say, please could you increase your font size, your text size, for the sake of this session, because we can't really see anything that you're presenting.
All right, hold on. I will do that too. Sorry. Okay, I'll do that. I'll do that. I'll do that now. I just need to close this first and then I will do that. Okay, I think I'll just close.
Okay, so while we're waiting for Mr. Jesse to get his stamina up and running, I can see some people who came in during the session. We have one of our community leads also, Mr. Obina Sunday. We have Possible Benedict, and we also have Jasper. We have Jasper, Possible, and Mr. Obina. Yeah, all welcome. Mr. Obina, you're highly welcome. Thank you all for being here. Okay, since we are still waiting for the speaker. So before we started the webinar, we are talking about tips on staying safe online. And we've heard from Malgona. Malgona said we should avoid phishing links. If it looks too good to be true, it is probably too good to be true. It is not true. That was what she said. Then Ozioma said that we should always update our apps regularly so that we can get the recent security features. Now, there is one thing you people need to understand. If you go to your phone and you go to security, there is a Google Play security update, I think, or Android security should be one of these. When was the last time you updated that security feature? If you have not updated it, or update it as soon as you can to avoid your phone being hacked, to avoid you being hacked. I had a friend that was hacked recently, and it is not fun. He lost everything. He had to erase his hard disks. So please let us update not only your apps, even your system, even your Windows needs updates. If you are using Windows, at least once in a while, you can do night sub or hourly sub and do your update so that you get the recent security features. So
Okay, so
Edema favor, can you give us one tip of staying safe online? What are the things you do? Okay, it seems Mr. Jesse is back. So over to you, Mr. Jesse.
okay, so sorry about that. I had to reboot my terminal. So, like I was saying, step number one, build virtually, create a virtual environment, right? Virtualization is more like you're creating a mini computer inside your computer. Do we understand what I mean?
Yes,
Hello.
sir.
Yeah, good. So it's more like creating a separate workspace where you can do whatever you want to do with internet access, but it does not affect your system internal workability. How do I mean? It does not affect what you do with your system on a normal day, because if it does, uh, it's going to be very bad. There are some things that I might want to run and they don't run on Windows or they don't run on Mac OS. I'll just have to come to Linux and get it, done. So that sorry, I'm trying to find where I'm trying to increase the font sizing and the font style so that everybody could get to see what I am doing. But okay, let me do this. Can we still see my screen?
No.
Okay, hold on, guys. It's coming up. Mm, okay. Okay, give me a moment. Uh,
Okay, I think our speaker is still trying to fix his presentation issue. So, we are so sorry for this technical which is not really easy being a techie. So, can you please tell us one tip you know that can help us stay safe online?
Okay. For me, one tip that I know that can help us stay safe online is not using every public Wi-Fi, especially when you're not sure of the Wi-Fi connection or stuff like that.
Okay, that's a lovely one. Not using public Wi-Fi. Not using public Wi-Fi. We understand that economy is hard, data is expensive, but as much as it lies in your power, avoid public Wi-Fi. If you understand networking, you understand that when computers are linked in a network, it is very, very easy. It's just like a network is like a flat with interconnecting doors, and it's very easy to walk from one door to another. So an open Wi-Fi, using an open Wi-Fi, I think I can liken it to staying to staying in a public house. While using your own private Wi-Fi is staying in your own flat, self-contained. You are by yourself. But when you're using public Wi-Fi, you're staying in a flat with people you don't know. So somebody could just wake up in the night and buy your room and take anything he wants. So let us do our best to avoid public Wi-Fi. Mr. Jesse, are you ready? Are you ready, sir? Or should we go ahead? Okay, since he's still busy trying to fix it. While we're waiting for him, um, who else do we have here? We have Ikweze Martins. Ikweze Martins. Welcome, sir. Can you give us a tip for staying safe online?
By using an ad blocker.
Okay, using an ad blocker. He says it's a tip for staying safe online. Okay. Now ads are very annoying. Ads are very stressful, especially some ads like Zenda ads and so some other applications that have their in-app ads, and you have to wait for the ads to load, sometimes 30 seconds. And the danger of ads is that you can mistakenly tap on the link. There's some ad that once you tap the screen, it takes you to another page, and before you know it, it's taking you from page to page to page to page to page. It keeps redirecting you, and before you know it, you might find something that would interest you, a clickbait that would interest you, and before you know it, you're giving out information that you're not supposed to give out. So let us try to implement ad blockers in our browsers and devices. So I think up next we have Benedict Possible. Thank you for joining the call, Ma. Can you give us a tip for staying safe online? Possible, can you hear me? Okay, I'm not sure she can hear me. Okay, Mr. Jesse is almost ready. Sir Jesse, are you ready to continue
Can
now?
you hear me? Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Sorry, I have a lot of stuff. I had to close down something so that this one can run smoothly.
You're welcome back, sir. Over to you.
All right. So, um, like I was saying, first things first, I would advise everybody get a Linux environment, right? Good thing is you can run Linux alongside your Windows or Mac OS or whatever you're using. That way, you can develop on your own secure space. It's only what you want that comes in and what you don't want that goes out. You regulate your space, so to speak, so that somebody does not just come and drop off something on you just like that you have no idea of. So this is a full virtual environment that I use most of the time, or when I'm not on the cloud, I use this. So I'm just going to show us how I run some of my tasks and do one or two things using the virtual environment. Sorry, it's still setting up. I don't know why it's giving a lot of issues today, but we will get through that. So I think we're up now. I think it's in perfect condition now. Yes, it is. So I'm going to try do something. Uh, so as I was saying, I'm going to go to the view and see if I can increase the fonts and see. Okay, so I'm going to zoom in a bit. I'm going to zoom in a bit. I'm going to do a lot of zoom ins. Can we see it now? Hello, everyone. Can we see what I'm doing now?
No, we can't. We can't.
We can't.
Oh my God. Okay. Okay. This is fine. Can you guys see it a bit better now?
No, we cannot.
So hold on, guys.
I don't think you're sharing your screen yet.
Okay. Hold on. I think you should be able to see my screen now. I think my screen should be up now.
Oh, yes, sir, we can
Okay,
now.
we can see it now. We
It's
just
All
dark.
right. Is it better now?
It's
Yes,
just
very
dark.
clear.
Said it's just dark.
I can see some green thing. Yes, it's clear.
Okay.
It's clear
Okay,
from
we
my
can
end.
see it now.
Okay, so like I said, I'm going to, the first thing I do is normally to update. So I'm going to update and I'm going to write sudo apt. No, this is not what I asked you to do. I'm just going to write sudo apt hyphen margin get updates. So I'm going to run the command and I'm going to write. So can we see what's going on? Hello? Hello?
Yes, we can.
So
Yes, sir, we can
basically,
see.
basically what I did was to update my virtual environment to the latest security features, whatever, with just one line of code, right? So you see, to update is not really difficult. It's just that some of us sometimes are very lazy or we just don't have time for it. So just one line of code and I'm updating just one command and I'm updating everything that I have on my system easily without stress. So I'm just going to give you a few moments to run through every app, software, application, and everything on this virtual environment and update it to the latest version. So I do this routine every time. I just do it by default. I just come up. Once I come up, I go to the terminal and I type and it goes running. This doesn't take more than highest 5 minutes tops and you're done. And then you have a working environment that you're going to be able to do that. So you see that it's getting, if you're able to see this looking at it, if you're able to look at this well, you see that what you're seeing is get HTTP security, HTTP security, HTTP archive, HTTP, so you find out that 90% of most of the updates that it's actually looking for by default are security updates. So this is one beautiful way you could actually stay very safe and secure without breaking your head over threat actors and all that. I don't know why it's taking so much time. I feel MTN is doing their most. But that aside, this is one way we can. Second way is develop on the cloud. Why do I say develop on the cloud? I am a very big advocate of cloud development. The reason why I advocate for cloud development is because, first things first, from the part of the world we are, we cannot afford high-end systems. So most persons, truthfully, cannot afford very high-end systems. Truthfully, most of us cannot run virtual environments. From what you could see, my system was hanging a bit because of I'm on a call, I have a few apps open and running, and then I'm trying to run a virtual environment. It's dragging my RAM and everything is, a bit tight, and we were having lag issues. Now, all these things can be avoided when you develop on the cloud, right? When you develop on the cloud, you could avoid all this, backlog of issues. Now, once I've been able to do this, I'm trying to minimize. This is hanging a lot, and I don't know why. But once I'm able to do it, now I could go to any of my applications here and start running. So you see, I have my Wireshark, I have my JCrypt tool, I have my Firefox, I have some other softwares that are running in the background. I could just go there, do whatever I want to do, and it's safe inside here. Nobody is coming to touch it, right? It's inside my safe environment. There's no ad that's going to disturb me when I'm working in a Linux environment because I control what I do. I can run whatever I do. I can write my own ad blocking software and put it inside my own Firefox and make it work. I'm just, giving you examples of the extent of the power that is in your hands when you're developing, virtually. Then cloud, like I was saying, cloud development. So I want to close this. I don't know if I can close this now so that I could do something a bit more flexible so that it doesn't drag my system, and a lot of us could relate to it. So I'm going to close this. I'm going to have to close this, and I'm going to share my tab. The next thing I'm going to have to share is my tab, right? So that we don't have plenty issues. So I'm going to share my tab, and I'm going to open idx.google.com, right? Google IDX is a cloud system. It is very new. It is very beautiful. It is very demure. It is very mindful. It is very acceptable. It's a very nice, uh, it's a very nice software to use because it makes a lot of sense. Now, you guys can see my screen, right? Hello, can you see my screen?
No.
Please check again. Reload your system, reload your browser or whatever.
Yes, I can see it now.
Good. So now look at my screen. You're saying that there are projects, there's Python, there's Flutter, there's everything in one place, inside the cloud system, inside another computer, in a browser. And I can decide to load whichever one that enters my head right now and do whatever I want to do without worrying myself of, no ad is going to enter here to disturb me. Virtually no ad from anywhere is going to disturb me. No phishing links, no mails, no threat actors, no whatever. I can build seamlessly, to any capacity I feel like from this space. Right. Now, if I decide to, see all templates, I could go to see all templates, and I'm seeing all frameworks. This is Angular, this is Next.js, this is Astro, this is React, Simple HTML, Svelte. You go to the backend, there's Go, there's Python Flask, there's Node Express, there's Rust, there's Laravel, there's Python Django. You go to mobile, there's Flutter, there's React Native Expo. You go to AI and ML, there's Gemini, there's Longchain, there's Firebase. You go to databases, you have Postgre, you have MySQL, you have Prisma. Everything you need is inside one place. You have the blank workspace with Nix environment. You have everything that you could possibly need to do a development in a threat-free way. Nobody is stressing you. Nobody is disturbing you. Nobody has your time. Nobody is. So these are different apps I've been able to work on, over the time. I'm going to open one of them, and I'm going to show you, how this works. I will open this, and then I will also open the website of it, the web app. I'm opening the mobile first, and then I'm going to open the website so that we can all see what it looks like, that these things, and it's a Google product, it's free. So you could dump on it, build your product seamlessly. So now everybody is conversant with VS Code. And what is loading here is full-time VS Code. So you can develop. Once you're done developing everything you want to develop, you just download a zip file and you're okay. Right. Do you get me? Hello? Hello, can we hear me?
Yes, sir, we can.
Yes.
Hello?
We can
Sorry,
hear you,
can I
sir.
hear you?
Good. So this is what it looks like. This is what the web environment, the mobile app environment looks like. So the Android side builds. There's an emulator. As you can see, the emulator has loaded. There's an emulator. The emulator has loaded the app I was working on. So you see that everything is working. You don't need to stress yourself to do anything out of the ordinary, out of the box. Just create an account with your Gmail and work. Very simple. So before I leave, I'm just going to show us the last part of this, because I think my battery is getting low. But I'm going to just show us something. This is a Python project that I was working on for student advisory system and all that. But what I'm trying to say is that you can get to build virtually in a cloud system or virtually in your local system, depending on your choice, securely, no interference, because 90% of the security threat starts with interference. So no interference, no web. You control what you see, how you see it, how what not does not happen, and you go ahead with that. So okay, I think it's coming up. Yeah, it's loading so that we can get to see how it works and how these things work in hand. So writing code in a dynamic threat environment, the fastest way to solve it is to create your own environment. So this is the web version. I could still be developing and see what I'm doing on the web. So I could still open my Python code. Where is my Python code? Yeah, this is my Python code, and I could still open it and be writing my code and then still be doing my refresh and be seeing what I'm doing on the web. Very simple. No ad is going to come, to stress me. Nobody is going. I'm just doing my thing until I'm done. This is the HTML part. I could do my HTML, write all my HTML scripts, and still do my CSS part of the, some whatever I'm working on, still work on the CSS part. So everything, you have everything in one space, in a particular environment. You're not going outside to look for anything. You're not going out there to look for everything you need in one place. That is the most effective way to develop in a threat dynamic environment, because the threats out there are plenty. You cannot possibly protect yourself against all of them at once. It's not done. You cannot do that. If you protect against malware, there's ransomware. If you protect against ransomware, there's DDoS. You protect against DDoS, there's phishing attack. You protect against phishing attack, there is spam. You protect, there are just a lot of them. But here, you're not protecting anything. Nobody's disturbing you. You're doing your thing. You're only coming out to the outside world when you're ready to deploy. You deploy in a safe space. If it's an app, you just generally carry your APK, go to Google Play Store, deposit it, and you're done. Your hands are off, right? So this is the best way that we can get these things done easily. So for my Figma people, right, the best things to do is use Adobe Cloud, right? For my developers, use Adobe Cloud, use Figma. Now, Figma has a cloud service. Use Figma cloud service, use Adobe Cloud service. But it's just that most of these things sometimes are paid for. That is why we decide to do it offline, right? But 90% of the things that are very important to you, that are very attached to you, develop them virtually, put them in a virtual environment. Now, the truth is, anything I'm developing inside there, break my system into two. You're not going to see it inside. Anything I'm developing inside my lab virtual machine on my system, those files that are inside the virtual machine are inside the virtual machine. You cannot see them on my normal system. So even if you gain access to my normal hard system, my computer, you cannot still see those files. You cannot tamper with them. You cannot steal them because they're in a virtual environment. And if the person does not know that there's a virtual environment, the person cannot access it, right? So with these few points of mine, I believe I've been able to convince us that virtualization is the key to developing in a very, threat dynamic environment. Thank you very much, guys. I really appreciate your time. Thank you, Maogona. Thank you, Guna. Thank you to the entire GDG. Thank you to everybody that made out time to, attend this meeting. God bless you. I really appreciate this. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much.
Okay, let's give him a round of applause, everyone. If you learned something, if you have been enlightened through this webinar, let's give it up for our speaker. This is a whole lot. This is a whole lot. Thank you very, very much, our tester general, for this session. We really appreciate your time, sir. Thank you very much. So, is there anyone that has a question? Kindly raise your hand if you have a question. Raise up your hand. If you have a question, kindly raise your hand. All these developers I'm seeing here, nobody has a question. Any question? Any questions? So I'm taking it that we all understood what Mr. Jesse taught us today perfectly, right? Let us respond. Do we understand? Or you are not hearing him? Okay, I can see one hand up. Any other person? So the rest, Victory, Possible, Ozioma, uh, uh, Flames, Beatrice, and Equays and Martins. We all understood him now. Yeah, all pros in this now. Okay, Possible has a question too. Ojama says he's a pro in developing secure applications now. Oh, I congratulate you, sir. I celebrate grace. So who else is a pro? Let's know that it's only two people that have questions. Okay. The rest are sitting on the fence. So, Mr. Jesse, we'll be taking the first question from Daniel Herbert.
Yes, please make your questions snappy. I need to, I think I have like 5 to 10 more minutes here before I go to something else. So please make your questions a bit snappy. Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Daniel.
All right, thank you, Mr. Winner. Thank you, Mr. Jesse, my boss, for elaborate discussion. So my question basically is, you've spoken on some of the pros, okay, of using the cloud environment to write your code. In your using this cloud environment, have you come across any shortfalls, things that make it a bit difficult, some cons we should have in mind, when coding in the cloud? Thank you.
Okay. The only problem I think I have encountered with working with the cloud is internet data. That is the only challenge, because you have to burn a lot of data, because you're trying to do that, But aside that, a lot of people have asked me, what about your files? What if the cloud system decides to crash one day? Now, there is a law that backs these cloud providers, that they cannot just wake up in the morning and crash, right? Even Google, whenever they want to close a particular service, they give you like 6 months to 1 year notice so that you can collect your files and migrate it somewhere else. Google recently closed Jamboard. Before they closed Jamboard, they've been banging it since they closed Jamboard in September. They've been announcing it since last year that they're about to close Jamboard. So you see, IDX started in March, I think. Yes, IDX was released in March. And if you look at IDX, you will see that one good thing IDX does for you is that you have Gemini inside, inbuilt. You don't need to start doing imports and whatever, install extension. Everything is there, right? So the only issue that I think might stand as a challenge is, the amount of internet you might have to burn running in the cloud. Aside that, cloud is the best place to get to do your thing. If you're working with data analysis on Google Colab, it's easier. Gemini helps you make corrections. Gemini helps you complete. Now, there's something that IDX has been working on. A friend of mine, he's an intern with Google, Elijah. He's been working on a project that allows you to do what we call speech coding. So now you can actually just talk and explain to Gemini what you want, and then the codes are written down, and then you modify it to what you want exactly. So that triples your development speed, right? So now most of the times these days, I don't stress myself much when I'm writing code, thinking logics and all that, because by the time I write like the first 7 lines of code, Gemini has already predicted what I want to do. So you just be so shocked that as you're writing code, it's completing everything for you, just completing it, and you're just in 10 minutes you're done with a script. Do we understand what I'm saying? So it's a very dynamic environment. We just do what we can, how we can, and then we just push it out there, right? So the next question, please.
Thank you so much, sir. When it is possible, please ask your question.
Okay, thank you, Ina. Thank you, Sir Jesse. My question from the last part of what you discussed, I want to just know, because I entered very late, so I didn't get the name of what you called the software. I don't know if that's the right word, but but I don't know what you call that. So if I could get that again, so I would do my research later.
Okay, the two major things I talked about was Google IDX, ID and X, and then I talked about virtualization, Linux operating system, using the Linux operating system alongside your Windows or whichever operating system you have. Linux is a specialized operating system, right, that is used by developers, security experts, and stuff like that. In fact, let me just in the next 1 minute show us something. Yep, I'm just going to show us this, just as a pattern, pattern something. Just give me a second. Let it open on my browser. So this, in case probably Google IDX is not your thing, this is Parrot Security. Parrot Security, this security, so it's an operating system. It's Linux based, right? But for system admins, developers, designers, whatever. Now you have if you go to the downloads page, I don't know why it's taking time to load, right? So you see that it has a lot of partners. If you go to the downloads page, you see all the operating system, all the programming languages that are running inside Parrot. If you go to the download Parrot versions, you have the home edition that you can just use for your privacy, software development, and all that and all that. Then you have the security edition. You have the cloud edition. You have the architect edition. You have the Raspberry edition for our hardware robotics people. You have the WSL edition. So you have everything. Whatever is your poison, you have it here, right? These are virtualization technologies that could help everybody. You could download the home edition and be using. For security experts, you could download the security edition. If you want to be using it inside your cloud, probably you're using Microsoft Azure, Google Cloud, AWS, Amazon. You could just download the cloud edition and you're working peacefully, no security headaches, no nothing, and you're having fun. So these are the ways you can avoid threats in what's it called? Threat dynamic environment. Yes. So any other question, please?
Does anyone have any other question? Thank you so much, Mr. Jesse. Any
All
other
right.
question? So I believe we all understand everything he taught us, and from now, we as developers and designers and as people interested in tech in general would have a more security conscious outlook on our work and personal life. So once again, thank you so much, Mr. Jesse, for taking out time to do this. Thank you so much, everyone who is here, Mr. Jesse, Malgona, Benedict Possible, Victor Michael, Gonel Singh. Please, everyone, how will I want to introduce my boss? Help me welcome the current lead for the Google developer groups on campus, Michael Upon University of Agriculture, Umudike, Mr. Ugochukwu Nelson, Flames. You're welcome, sir. I'm very happy to have you. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Rena.
Okay. Thank you, Ikweze Martins, for staying to the end. Thank you, Dana Harbert, for staying to the end. And thank you so much, Ozema, for helping me put this together.